Okay, so it's been about 24 hours now. In between, I'd just come in and taken the excess off after about an hour. You can still see the residue over the top. And what we're going to do now is take a 180 grit pad, wet dry pad. We've got our squirty bottle and we have our orbital sander. We're going to put that on the lowest setting. And we're going to squirt it down and we're going to take the residue off. One thing I would recommend is that you have something like this, an apron to protect your clothing or clothes that you don't mind getting dirty. We are going to keep the orbital sander on the slowest setting, however, it will still kick out a little bit of mess, so just want to guard against that. So, sander on the slowest setting. We'll squirt it all down first. Don't forget to wet down the edges as well. Now obviously this isn't a huge piece of concrete, so I wouldn't necessarily squirt, if you've got a large expanse, I wouldn't squirt it all down straight away. So that's now fully wet down. One other thing you're going to need is a pair of gloves. So gloves on, let's get cracking. So orbital sander on the slowest speed. And you're going to see results pretty quickly. As you can see, there's a paste appearing straight away. What you're trying to do is take off all the slurry that's been left on the top layer and leave that slurry that's in the divots or in the shallow parts. As you sand, you're going to pick up more and more slurry, which is going to make it more difficult to see the progress that you're making. So every so often, just give it a wipe down and see where you are with your progress. Once you have wiped down, it's important then to add more water to the concrete. Just a light misting will do. And then we can start again. Now this is optional, but as you get a feel for it, you can increase the speed. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you can increase it and make the process a little bit quicker. Of course, the flip side of increasing the speed with your sander is that you're going to kick out more mess and it's going to splatter further in your work area, so do bear that in mind. So if you are enjoying this video, click the like button below to let us know that you're enjoying it. Also, whilst you're down there, click the subscribe button and then click the little bell icon next to it. And that means that every time we upload a video, you'll be notified. Now, because we've only left the smoothing paste on the concrete for 24 hours, we only need a 180 grit wet dry pad. If you leave it any longer, you're probably going to need a 120 and maybe even an 80. Just bear in mind that if you do need those coarser pads, then you are going to have to sand back up to the 180 grit just to get a uniform, nice smooth finish for the sealer to adhere to. So as before, every so often you need to give your concrete a wipe just to see what your progress is. What you are looking to achieve is a finish where the slurry that's sitting on top is gone and it remains in the divots, as we previously talked about. A telltale sign of that is that the slurry is going to be slightly cloudier over the top of the base concrete. So you want to be removing those cloud effects almost. Once you've done that, you know you've completed that area. So I've got a cloudy bit here that I know that I need to work a little bit harder on. Okay, so I'm happy now that I have got rid of as much as I can on the top, so we're going to move on to the edges. Now, this is obviously quicker. You can do this by hand, but in this case, I'm going to do it with the orbital sander again on the lowest setting. Definitely on the lowest setting because your sander is going to be angled vertically, it means that any splashing from the face is going to come upwards and downwards. So I'm going to put it on a very slow setting and just gently work at the slurry. And that's coming away nicely. Now on the edges, just gently roll the sander over it. And that will give you a really lovely smooth finish. Okay, I'm happy now that I've taken as much of the smoothing paste off as I can do. So this just needs to be washed down now and cleaned up, ready to be sealed.